Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Ako po si Armando Erolin ng Western Bicutan National High School. Ang aking share ngayon ay tungkol sa statistical analysis. Tayo pong lahat ay pwedeng maging isang researcher. At syempre, bilang isang researcher, kailangan mong pag-aralan ang statistics in order to treat the data properly. Maging ito educational research o medical research. Napakaraming data ang available o kukunin pa lamang, tulad sa survey na pwede nating pag-aralan o gamitin sa isang research. Lalo na ngayon sa panahon ng pandemic, ang mga medical researcher ay nangangalap ng ebidensya kung epektibo ang gamot o vaccine na kanilang natuklasan laban sa coronavirus. Napaka-importante dito ang tamang statistical analysis para malaman kung epektibo ang gamot. Napakahalaga din po ngayon ang mathematics at science para lalo nating maintindihan ang impormasyon sa paglaganap ng virus. May mga mathematical model na ginagamit ang mga UP researcher para malaman kung kailan nag-flat ang isang curve. For now, I'm going to start my lesson by defining some important statistical terms.
There are important terms that you should know in order to understand statistical analysis. What is statistics? What are the two types of statistics? Statistics is a branch of science that deals with the study involving collection, organization, presentation, analysis, interpretation of data, and decision-making, or COPAID. There are several reasons why we should study statistics. 1. We must be able to read and understand the various statistical studies performed around us. 2. We may conduct a research on growing phenomena around us. 3. We may have to make decisions based on the data and information of statistical studies. There are two types of statistics. 1. Descriptive statistics, which is usually used to describe data. In descriptive statistics, we deal with the study of A. Measures of central tendency or position, which involves the analysis and computation of mean, median, mode, quartile, decile, percentile. And the other one is measures of variation or variability, which involves the analysis and computation of standard deviation, variance, mean absolute deviation, and range. The other type of statistics is inferential statistics, which is used to make an inference about the data. This type of statistics involves the study of A. Estimation, which is the process of estimating a known parameter population mean, population standard deviation, and population proportion. The other one is hypothesis testing, which is the process of testing the assumption regarding the population parameter, like testing the significant difference and significant relationship between two parameters. What is statistical treatment? What is statistical analysis? Statistical treatment of data is essential in order to make use of data in the right form. Raw data collection is only one aspect of any experiment. The organization of data is equally important so that appropriate conclusion can be drawn. Statistical analysis of data is a procedure of performing various statistical operations. It is a kind of quantitative research which seeks to quantify the data. Generally involves some form of statistical tools. What are the two types of data? There are two types of data: categorical or qualitative data and numerical or quantitative data. Nominal and ordinal data are categorical data. Nominal data uses a level or name to identify an attribute of an element. Ordinal data has the properties of nominal, but with a clear ordering of the categories. Interval and ratio are numerical data. Interval data has the properties of an ordinal, The other concept of statistical analysis is hypothesis tests. There are two types of hypothesis tests depending on the types or attributes of the data. Before we do hypothesis testing, we will consider first whether the normality or homogeneity of data is met. If the assumption of normality is met, then we use parametric tests, otherwise non-parametric tests. Under parametric tests, group or total number of respondents is to be considered. In one sample parametric test, we use t-test if the number of respondents is less than 30, and z-test if more than 30 respondents. In two or more samples, we do independent samples or paired samples depending on how the group is categorized. We use independent t-test when the two groups are not related, and paired sample or dependent t-test when they are of the same group. Under non-parametric test, chi-square test is used for one sample test. For two or more samples, Mann-Whitney U test, median test, chi-square is used for independent sample, and Wilcoxon and sign test for paired samples. P-value is estimated probability of rejecting the null hypothesis. It is a number between 0 and 1. If p-value is less than or equal to 0.05, this indicates strong evidence against the null hypothesis, so you reject the null hypothesis. Otherwise, fail to reject the null hypothesis. Before I will give an example of statistical analysis, we will listen first to the video presented by Dr. Ong.
Buong mundo at lumabas ang resulta ng remdesivir COVID-19 treatment. Maraming tinetest, pero ito yung una nag-positive. Ginawa to ng US National Institutes of Health. Sila naggawa ng study. 22 countries, 1,000 plus pasyente. Nakita nila yung mga nabigyan ng remdesivir, itong antiviral na gamot, 11 days lang magaling na. Pero yung hindi nabigyan, yung mga placebo parang tubig lang yan eh. Para lang i-check kung mas maganda ba to kaysa sa wala. Pag placebo, pag walang binigay na gamot, yung mga ibang gamot lang binibigay, 15 days ang recovery. Ibig sabihin, 4 days better. 4 days wala sa ventilator. 4 days maaga nakakalabas sa ospital. So maganda po. At basis, ito po para sa mga doctors, maganda yung p-value niya sa mga epidemiologists, 0.001. Sabihin, proven siya. Ang kailangan na p-value namin, lagi namin tinitingnan yan, 0.05. Basta naka 0.05 ka, statistically, panalo yung gamot mo. Hindi to tsamba, hindi to hula, tunay. Ito 0.001, ibig sabihin, very proven siya. Pagdating naman sa mortality rate, hindi naman to ang primary endpoint. Nakita nila, pag remdesivir, mas hindi rin namamatay. 8%. Kumpara sa placebo, 11.6% ang namamatay. Pero nung chinek nila statistically, 0.059. Kulang lang konti. 0.05, sumobra lang siya ng konti. Pero yung trend, papunta sa less ang namamatay sa remdesivir.
We hear from Dr. Ong how important is statistical on analysis of data, like mean recovery days and p-values, to conclude the effectiveness of the new drug in the treatment of coronavirus. Now, suppose I will do an experimental or medical research. For example, the research problem is the new drug effective in the treatment of coronavirus? To answer this problem, I will be working with a research problem which is 1. What is the mean recovery days of the experimental and the control group? 2. Is there any significant difference on the mean recovery days of the two groups? Hence, the hypothesis is there is no significant difference on the mean recovery days of the experimental and the control group. Suppose I gather a data from the two groups, experimental group or group with a drug treatment, with 40 total number of respondents, and control group or a group without drug treatment or placebo, with 35 total respondents. Their respective data, for example, for experimental group, patient 1 with 8 days, patient 2 with 13 days, patient 3 with 9 days, and so on. While the control group having a data of patient 1 with 16 days, patient 2 with 14 days, patient 3 with 12 days, and so on. In order to make an analysis of the data, I will be working with this using IBM SPSS and interpret the result.
Okay, yung data natin dito sa Excel ay tatransfer natin sa SPSS. Check natin kung tama yung data natin na galing sa Excel. Itong with treatment ay first group na ang unang patient o patient 1 has 8 days of recovery. Pangalawang patient ay 13 days of recovery. 19 days of recovery yung pangatlong patient under ng with treatment. Check natin kung 40 respondents sila lahat. Okay, yung last patient natin, yung pang 40 sa with treatment, have a 14 days recovery. Ito naman, yung without treatment, yung unang patient natin with 16 days of recovery and so on. Ngayon, para ma-analyze natin itong data, pupunta tayo sa Analyze, then Compare Means, then sa Compare Means, mayroong one sample t-test, may independent sample t-test, third sample t-test, and one-way ANOVA. Dahil magkaibang grupo yung respondent natin, gagamitin natin ay independent sample t-test. Click the independent sample t-test. Ngayon, etong box na ito, mayroon tayong test variable at saka grouping variable. Ang test variable natin is yung recovery days. Lipat natin. Yung treatment naman ay yung grouping variable. I-define natin yung groups. Kasi dalawang grupo tayo. Set natin yung first group na 1, which saka yung group 2 ay 2. And then, click Continue. Tingnan natin sa option button. Dito, makikita natin na nakaset yung confidence interval percentage ng 95. So, kailangan ilagay natin sa 99% dahil medical research ang ating ginagawa. And then, click Continue. Then, click OK. Okay, ito na yung result ng ating SPSS. So, i-analyze natin. Sa group statistic, with treatment, mayroon tayong 40 respondent. So, without treatment, 35 respondent. Pagdating naman sa mean, yung with treatment, 9.25. Yung without treatment, 13.83. So, mas maliit di hamak ang number of days or mean recovery days ng with treatment. Kung pagdating naman sa standard deviation, si with treatment mayroon lang 2.6 at si without treatment ay 3.34. So mas maliit ang standard deviation ni with treatment. Kaya mas homogeneous ang response ng with treatment. Itong part na ito, dito natin malalaman kung significant ang test natin. Kung mapapansin mo, si Leibniz test of equality of variance, mayroon siyang 0.094 significant, which is greater than 0.05, meaning homogeneous ang ating data. So, we will utilize equal variances. Ang ating t-computed value is negative 6.6 with degrees of freedom of 73. At ang ating p-value is 0.00, which is less than 0.01 level of significance. Sa makatuwid, ang ating decision is reject the null hypothesis. At ang ating conclusion is there is no significant difference on the mean recovery days of the two groups. Hence, there is a strong evidence to conclude that the new drug treatment is effective. Muli, ako si Armando Erolin ng Western Bicutan National High School. Ang pag-aaral ng statistics ay mahalaga hanggat mayroon po tayong data. Maraming salamat po.